Your teacher today is Dr. Bosa, Science. Dr. Bosa is a teacher at the Science Foundation College, the best school that teaches sciences. Today, we are going to study geography, UACE 250, paper 2, agricultural practices in the world. Lesson 5 of 7. Agricultural communes is a type of farming where the government organizes farmers in teams and brigades to carry out production on government-owned land where government controls production, marketing and sharing of profit. Examples of communes in China are the Henan commune, Yangatan commune, and so on. Crops grown by agricultural communes in China include rice, soybean, wheat, animals such as pigs, poultry, and so on. Characteristics of communes. They are state-controlled and people work on the farms as employees. They are subdivided into teams which then form. They are communally owned. Each brigade has an inspector approved and responsible to the state. Work is labor intensive. The state determines the crop to be grown. The state determines the quotas. The surplus above the fixed amount is shared depending on the input. The state provides technical and financial assistance. They undertake processing of the produce. They use improved farming methods. Research is carried out by the state. Factors that led to development of agricultural communes in China. Physical factors. Favorable climate such as the heavy monsoon, rainfall, which is evenly distributed and supports growth of rice, wheat, barley, and so on. Fairly fertile soils. Availability of extensive land in both the Machuria Plain and Yangtze Basin. Relatively flat land that allows mechanized farming and gravitational flow of water and irrigation. Presence of rivers such as Yangtze, Akusu that provide water for irrigation. Other factors: relative political stability and security that encourage long-term investment in farming. Presence of a large cheap labor of about 1.3 billion people to work on the farms. Presence of ready market for the commune products like wheat, rice, and beef. Modern transport network, for example, roads and railways to distribute products to the market. Supportive communist government policy that formed and still encourages communes through subsidies, credit, and so on. Abundant permanent water supply from rivers such as Yellow rivers for irrigation. Large sum of capital injected by the Chinese government to construction of roads, canals, storage facilities, and so on. Modern technology such as use of tractors to clear land. Intensive research to decide the crop to be grown in a given area, depending on the existing conditions, market research, and so on. The need to increase food production and security to feed a big population of over 1 billion people. Presence of high levels of unemployment in China necessitated formation of communes to provide employment to the people. Contributions of commune farming in China. Positive contributions. There is a massive production of food crops like rice, wheat, oats, barley, and so on to feed a high population of China. Improved quality and quantity of agricultural produce. The system enabled the increase of cultivable land through reclamation of flood swamps. Increased the income to the farmer through export of the surplus produce. Encouraged the value addition and increased income. Encouraged specialization and division of labor, leading to increased food production. Created employment for the people on the farms and agro-processing industries. Encourages cooperation and teamwork, resulting into increased output and security within the country. Has led to improved research on agriculture, resulting into introduction of high-breed, quick maturing crop varieties like rice, barley, and so on. Encourages easy access to the means of production, for example, machinery, fertilizers, seeds, resulting into higher output. Government earns revenue through taxation of farmers. Diversification of economic activities in addition to forestry, small-scale industries, fisheries, and so on. It has made it easy to train farmers on modern methods of farming because people are collected together. It encourages land consolidation because of amalgamation of land. It makes availability of credit to farmers easy. The government assists in transporting, storing, and marketing of agricultural produce, thus reducing the costs of production. Encourages growth of industries such as textiles, chemicals, farm equipment, and so on. It promotes use of formerly idle land in mature plains, and so on. Farmers are protected from exploitation through state control of prices, which eliminates middlemen. Negative contributions of commune farming in China. The crops grown are sold to the state at fixed prices far below the prevailing market prices, leading to exploitation of farmers. Soil exhaustion due to monoculture leads to pollution due to agricultural chemicals and effluents from agrochemical industries. Bureaucracy delays decision making. Increased mechanization has led to unemployment. Encourages destruction of natural vegetation, such as forests and so on. Encourages increased government expenditure on public goods like maintenance of roads, schools, provision of security, and so on. High losses due to natural hazards like floods, drought, frost, and so on. Increased outputs of some crops lead to a decline in prices. Promotes urbanization, leading to congestion, increased crime rates, and so on. Collective farming. It is a type of farming common in communist countries such as Russia, Monrovia, and so on. It involves voluntary or compulsory grouping of land into large units with the aim of increasing and modernizing agricultural production. Main characteristics of collective farming: voluntary or compulsory amalgamation of farm units into large farms. Farms are managed communally or by selected committees. Crops grown are specified. Farms are highly mechanized. Marketing of produce is controlled by the state. Farmers are allowed some limited areas of the farm for their own crops and livestock. The proceeds from the sale of the farm produce are shared among members. Positive contributions of collective farming. Large farms enables mechanization, high output. It encourages development of agro-processing industries, encourages development of infrastructures such as schools, roads, health centers, and so on. Encourages research into better varieties of crops, stimulates growth of urban centers, which makes it easier to provide social services, create employment opportunities on farm and agro-processing industries, contribute to diversification of economy, promotes increased government revenue from taxes. It increases foreign exchange from export of produce, fosters good international relationships through trade. Negative contributions of collective farming. Crops grown are sold to the state at fixed prices that are below the prevailing market prices. Deprivation of farm ownership and lack of competition kills farmers' incentive to work, leading to limited output. Soil exhaustion due to monoculture, pollution from agricultural chemicals and agrochemical industries, bureaucracy delays decision making. Increased mechanization leads to unemployment, leads to destruction of natural vegetation, leads to increased government expenditure on public goods like maintenance of roads, schools, provision of security, and so on. Promotes urbanization, leading to congestion, poor hygiene, and so on. Ujamaa system in Tanzania. It is a form of cooperative farming practiced in Tanzania since 1975. Benefits of Ujamaa system: mobilization of labor force for specialized projects such as reforestation, dairy farming, and so on. Increased the production of food and cash crops. Increased area under cultivation. Organized settlement leads to easy provision of social services. Increased government revenue through taxation. Increased foreign exchange earning from exports. Better production techniques provided by extension workers. Provide raw materials to processing industries. Stimulate growth of urban areas. Generate employment. Shortcomings of Ujamaa system. Government lack enough resource to provide necessities to the farm. Fluctuation of farm produce. Emphasis on production of cash crops reduces food security. Failure to improve farmers' income. Poor management of village communities by government officials. Poor planning of village communities.